for the most part on Demon's Raw. Snake, of course, picking up the Juliet, KO meta. There we go. Fudgy gets a Luna, probably going to be able to further help that out. And then Fresh with the Rasmus, which is the pick that he's most known for. And in fact, you are correct, Zaya. It is Streak playing the IME midfield with Merchant playing the Finny in the goal box here. But most interesting, I think, is gear selection. Streak has elected for Bubblers, and Snake has elected for Vambrace.
Yeah, the survivability going to be big here for Snake against this very, very heavy damage composition from the Bozo Bunch. Last week, though, we did see that Bozo struggled quite a bit with confirming KOs in particular. They were doing a lot of damage last week, but they just couldn't get those confirmed. So we'll see if that changes this game, but right now with the Juliet, Snake's going to be the one confirming quite reliably, I think, and Rightfully Fresh, of course, undefeated in NASL this season. Going to be looking to continue that, but with Fudgy Waffles going down and Dropletto taking a barrier, we might be seeing some Dropletto Centauro magic.
See whether or not he can make that count. But of course, as you mentioned, Fresh is subbed in for 2 games in Demon's Raw, has won both with the team. And first start here, first goal going to go towards the Bozo Bunch. A lot of time left to play, but Fudgy zooming past the core there. Quite unfortunate. Energy Burst and Energy Economy here heavily favoring Bozo Bunch as well. So not only do they get the first goal, but picking up the advantage here in the energy as well.
Yeah, and they're putting on the pressure onto Snake, but with that Vambrace, Snake is going to be so tanky, and I think they're going to have to refocus on Fudgy here as the main target of the damage. Perfectly flipped by Snake. Not quite enough to get the barrier, though, and Dropletto using the core speed. An amazing pass from Merchant all the way across the world, and the triple take will save it for a little while longer, but the core is still in their half, and Rightfully Fresh getting it forward so reliably on this pick. Snake with the strike war win in the midfield, and that's a goal for Demon's Raw.
Goal comes through. That's the most important part here, and it appeared as though Merchant didn't have a cooldown, especially with the amount of pressure that was there ahead of time. But it'll be interesting to see this game continue to develop. Especially, right, the damage potential out of the Bozo Bunch composition is certainly there. Now, we haven't seen it come out in full force just yet, but as soon as a handful of those awakenings get to where they're needed, we will see that come online. And in the interim, Snake, I'm sure, will just keep confirming KOs the more that comes through. Energy Burst online here for Fudgy. There is the big finish that goes out, preventing a lot of options. And now it's Dropletto looking to make some magic. There's the magic to take both barriers, but gets punished for it. KO'd almost instantly. Snake does have an Energy Burst here. Can't pick up the speed gate. And going to be a little less mobile for the moment. Still able to find the barrier on the possession maintained here for Demons. Streak doing a great job preventing this core from going past the midfield line. Now, though, Snake maybe with a little bit of room to work. No, doesn't have the speed yet as the Juliet, even with the speed gate on Night Market. Imagine has Dash Punch up at this point. There it is, looks for the core. Not able to find it, and even still, Merchant did have the Energy Burst. Streak looking to make a challenge towards Fresh here. Setting up the Firewall Sentry. Not much comes of it. Tony's Blade to the corner. Here's the Energy Burst. Great denial from Snake. Looks for the core again when it slips past him, and Fresh will collect with the Death Touch. Still just seeing a lot of back and forth here. Solid fundamentals, but no real incredibly strong plays towards the net on either side. It's very spread out at this point. The goals are being saved. Stealing away. There's a... Oh my goal.
That's not the outcome the Bozo Bunch
That's-
wanted. Merchant had flip
Yeah.
as well. I don't think Streak should have contested that in the slightest. I think Merchant had it, but a little bit of panic and miscommunication from the Bozo Bunch defensive duo here as Dropletto just gets blown up as well. And we're starting to see the Bozo Bunch kind of fall apart a little bit.
You know, I will say, when the point goes on for that long, it was probably a matter of time before you start getting at least a little bit nervous and somebody makes a mistake. Not, of course, the way that you want to see it happen, and Bozo Bunch not quickly recovering either, with the goal gates opened up. Demons in pursuit of a goal. Snake sticks around here. Big finish, sends it backwards. Glitch Pop will actually find the goal barrier, and now we're at open goal gates again on Night Market. Energy Burst is out, triple take. Snake waits patiently. Not able to go after the core. Fudgy does have the Energy Burst, uses it here, and just sneaks the core past the Energy Burst of Merchant. Demons find the goals here in the first set to go up. Snake pick the litter in the first draft.
Very, very clutch and rewarded with the adrenaline rush. That is the awakening you think of when you think of Juliet with the KOs. They're going to get so much value off of them, and we saw that they damage jump onto Dropletto so reliably here with the Rasmus, the Luna, the Juliet, everything. And on the other end, nothing nearly as good for the Bozo Bunch, right? Pretty disappointing pickups all around. Goes for the Spectrating instead of the Timeless Crater as well on the Aimi. And this is such a doomed draft for the Bozo Bunch, I gotta say.
That doesn't feel like a lot. It feels bad when Dropletto's picking up Orb Replicator as the best brawler choice in that draft, I suppose. You know, I was thinking earlier in seeing that draft, well, maybe Orb Replicator could be something you go for, right? For the little bit of extra healing, but obviously not going to be more beneficial than getting more damage on an Aimi or getting extra cooldowns, an ability cast on a Finny that already has very few defensive resources. So certainly makes sense here from the Bozo Bunch, but not exactly what you would have wanted to see. Fudgy flying in on the boost. Triple touch is out. Can't find a lot of momentum here. Dropletto trying to send the core to the blue side of the pitch. Unsuccessful. Snake barely able to find a punch in the barrier along with it. Here's the energy burst. Caught out by the misdirection. Fudgy stunned for a moment. Here's Dropletto in the corner. Goes back behind Streak. The big finish is out. Bounces off of the gate. The Fresh has got it covered. Glitch Pop. Oh my. Great counter on the Glitch Pop. Fudgy wasn't expecting to see that come out. And then core ends up right in front of Dropletto, who's able to put it away.
Yeah, great goal for the Bozo Bunch, but if you're Dropletto, you got to be careful now. No meter available, and definitely going to be the target here, hugging the middle, trying to get the speed and getting away from the crater, even without an evade. Well played by Dropletto on the defense, and Snake's the one who's targeted down here, but it's going to be hard to put damage onto Snake here.
Absolutely. And when it's difficult to put damage on the Juliet's going to just feel like she can run wherever she wants to. Dangerously close potentially there to getting KO'd, but slightly outside. It looked like the radius of the big finish, so it wouldn't have been popped off by that. Cora ends up in the middle, bouncing around a bit. Abilities continue to be trade. Snake to himself, just a little bit outside, but the recovery is there. Fresh able to come forward, and Demons keep getting the job done.
Yeah, the passing plays and the meter low on Dropletto and Merchant, incredibly high on the side of Demons Raw as well. And take a look back into history, right? Of course, the teams are completely different, but Dropletto and Fresh, last call versus Bozo Bunch for a while. Last call was dominant in their record versus the Bozo Bunch, this goalie brawler matchup. I think Fresh still knows what to do.
Yeah, most likely. Can't imagine that. Look, Fresh might be old, but the lucky news for him is that he doesn't have to learn any new tricks. Same players continue to make North American Strikers League the league that it is. Passion for this game continues. Despite all else, beautiful little tech there from Snake. Getting a second barrier, but a double barrier on the other side of the pitch. Core keeps going back and forth. Maybe some momentum on the top side of the pitch for the Bozo Bunch, but not quite. Possession almost maintained. Streak lets it slip away, and Fresh now, maybe getting involved in the offensive side. Fudgy comes in with the boost to find the KO. Power play opportunity. Streak uses it defensively. Pendulum swing up. Trying to give Snake the ability and some room to work, but the thing about this Luna is that you don't have a lot of presence, right?
Oh.
You have just enough to make some plays like that happen. But even still, you don't have the way to funnel the core to your brawler at all times. And anytime Snake gets the chance, of course, go to look for those kinds of dribbling plays, but not able to come up with as many of them perhaps as he would have liked, at least early in this game.
Yeah, but Fudgy Waffle's the playmaker. Let's be clear. He doesn't need to make plays with Snake. He can just make plays on his own. And Streak with a dash pop, unable to KO Frightfully Fresh, just barely. That would have been a huge swing for the Bozo Bunch, but instead, they're now truly on the back foot once more. A good Strike War win will save the barrier for Demon's Raw. And once again, this offense is looking just not coordinated enough from Bozo, but maybe a KO will help.
KO almost assuredly will help in some form or fashion, but the whammy rocket comes out. Now the big finish doesn't find the core. It gets sent away by the crater. Oni's Blade trying to trap this one in the corner. The Firewall Sentry is out here, but even still, Demon's going to find the hold for so long. Dropletto finds the barrier nonetheless. Streak now pops the energy burst, but even still, they're not able to come away with nearly as much as they would like for the number of resources they committed and now get KO'd as Fresh sends Dropletto packing. Power play opportunity here. Snake almost picks up one on Merchant. Not quite able to do just that. Fudgy, playmaker, finds the barrier, looking for the pass up to Snake. Just finally able to find it. Gets on the other side of the Oni's Blade and will commit the ult, but it doesn't matter as it's a new set. Demon's Raw up 2-0.
Yeah, Snake has gotten so much value off that Flame Flurry in the enemy box, and importantly, Snake is so healthy. The Vambrace pick, not what we usually see, but is working out quite well for Snake in this one. This draft's interesting. Stinger are going to be taken by Fresh. Make sure the damage is in their control. There were other good awakenings for that Rasmus in the draft. Of course, the hot shot, what I was looking at, but with how much damage the Demons are consistently pumping out, and with how much they're not taking, right? The Demons are staying alive in pretty much every circumstance, and that's going to continue with this draft, it feels like.
Yeah, I think as Demons here, picking up and denying as many damage awakenings as you can is probably beneficial, because obviously the little extra that you can get from the Vambrace, right, and survivability for Snake is going to be helpful, but only as long as the opposing team is not dealing enough damage, and that appears to be the case so far. So Snake will certainly take that, and denying the Stinger away means that one of the awakenings that is best picked up here from Merchant is Hot Shot. Probably not exactly what would have liked on the Finny, but I think that extra denial, great play here, continuing to look for this momentum from Demons. Streak escaping for now. Dropletto finds the barrier on the other side. Snake, though, trying to play catch to himself in the big finish. It'll go back to the other side of the pitch, though. Every ability cast in the game nearly is what it feels like. Fresh still able to pick up the core. Dropletto on the dodge. Here's the Oni's Blade. Fudgy able to dig it out of there. Now get it to the other side of the pitch on the boost. Trying to buy some more space here. Snake, Fiery Flurry committed there. Score goes wide out of the crater. Back around. Really trying to attack from this bottom side. Oh. Here is, my goodness, where did that core go? Flying is where it went. The extra impact power of the heavy impact pickup from Snake doesn't even need the energy burst tech to get the job done.
Yeah, and when I watch Bozo Bunch in recent times, especially this season, it feels like there's always one player stepping up, right? In that Night Market game where Dropletto did a little bit of Zentaro goalieing, it was Dropletto. In last week, it was Merchant, but it's always just one player. They don't feel like a team. And right now, that's really coming back to bite them, as that they just can't mount a solid offense against Rightfully Fresh.
Been very difficult to do just that, and now KO'd is Dropletto again. Fresh finds the save for one barrier to keep it alive. Snake, Fiery Flurry. Core gets knocked away for the time being, but with 2 energy bursts online here and up front for Demon's Raw, it's going to be very difficult to keep the barrier online for so long. Now it's going to be Merchant taken off of the pitch as Snake has the adrenaline rush, and with nobody back, the Core will just drift into the net. It's game point for Demon's Raw.
It's looking like Demon's Raw have full control of this game. And Fudgy Waffles in particular has really impressed me, right? A lot of these plays are Snake, yes, but when there's one opening, when the core slips away, Fudgy's always on it.
There, played some kind of a role getting the core towards the barrier. Now Snake able to find the second, and the momentum continues here for Demon's Raw. Could make it a very quick 3-0 in game 1. Passed around here. Streak looking for Dropletto. There's a glitch pop again. It will get forward. Fresh can't find the primary to save the first barrier. Here's another one. My goodness. Beautiful energy burst out of Dropletto right after the goal barrier gets hit. Some signs of life here for the Bozo Bunch, but even still, upward battle, especially with Snake having an energy burst here. One goal barrier already taken away. Of course, Fresh totally expecting to hold down just one. KOs. Oh, actually, double KO here. Snake now in the adrenaline rush. Big finish comes out here. Merchant have to make some heroes and is able to do at least somewhat. Still loses the barrier. Streak back online, though. Here's the Oni's blade from Dropletto, trying to buy some space in the midfield line. Fudgy looking for the shot, keeping this one forward. The Waimu rocket goes slightly wide. Here's the Firewall Sentry trying to keep this core away. Snake almost finds it, but comes up just late. And the core drifts back to the blue side of the pitch. Even still, though, the possession has not been maintained for Bozo Bunch for very long at all. Oftentimes, Dropletto will have an opportunity to make a play on the core, but can't really be maintained at the moment. Streak's trying to play a little bit more passively, looking for more glitch pop plays and the like. Dropletto, though, taken off the pitch. 6 KO streak for Fudgy. There's the energy burst. Merchant able to find the clear for now in the block. Fresh gets involved, looking forward. Power play opportunity. Big finish. Tries to rocket it back. Doesn't matter. Dropletto now back. Snake is still in position to make a play towards the core if the core gets back up to him, and it's flying all around the pitch. Dropletto, though, catches Fudgy after the boost. Able to find that KO. Merchant forced to use the energy burst here. Not a good sign right now for the Fitty. Trying to keep this game alive for the Bozo Bunch. Snake doesn't have an energy burst here, though, but even still, it's a striker advantage. On the pitch, doesn't matter. Fudgy sends it down to the bottom corner, and it's Demon's Raw that take game 1.
It was just a dominant performance. Even though the last point stretched on for a long time, it never felt like Demon's Raw lost control of the ball. It was just a delayed end to a game that was just so dominant in terms of just full control.
Yeah, 3 goals. And that's it for the Bozo Bunch. Most of the possession certainly felt like it was maintained from Demon's Raw for a good majority of that game. And that's the risk you run, I think, when you're playing a composition like what Bozo Bunch was playing here, is that especially locking this Finny Saya feels like that should be very damage-oriented. But maybe that right counter from Snake and picking the Fan Braces in a comparison to other Juliet here that you might end up favoring most of the time. In this case, it seems as though it paid off, prevented a lot of those KOs from potentially happening, and was just enough to keep Demon's Raw ahead.
Yeah, and the main thing is, right, I just wish that we could see Merchant on those eject goalies, because he plays Finny fine, but it's just not a win condition for Bozo Bunch, and the Bozo Bunch need a win condition.
Yeah, like, what else is Merchant supposed to do, right? Known for the Vice at first, right? In the goalie eject button, adding plenty of damage to the team and getting the job done in that way. Haven't seen similar play from the Bozo Bunch, certainly not in the last one. And it's difficult, right, to pair that up, even if there's a lot of damage at the moment. You can't quite take the identity out of the team or out of the individual players that are playing. But now, Gates of Obscura. Saya, whose map pick was this again?
This was definitely Demon's Raw's map pick here. It's gonna be the blue side for the Bozo Bunch, and it's a prize fighter start. We're only seeing damage starts today.
Hashtag Brawler Patch. Isn't that just what this is?
This is a patch where Siphoning Wand is pickable on Luna. Isn't that crazy?
Hashtag Brawler Patch.
You know, I see a certain person responsible for this saying it's not, but low-key it's pickable. Low-key it's pickable, and that's a problem. If it's pickable, it's a problem.
That's the blue one, Luna, from the Bozo Bunch, picked up here first. And 3Z Breezy has been successfully rage baited in the Twitch chat. Oh boy. Don't you just love Omega Strikers? We're still here, folks. We are still here.
All right, but taking a look at the draft, though, Demon's Raw, of course, going with a bit of a mirror of the previous game. They're leaning towards the Bite Breakers, and wait, Demon's Raw? They're saying that They're saying that we can pick Bite Breakers, but you can't. They're just running the Bozo Bunch comp from the previous game, and I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot more faith in Demon's Raw in their ability to run this one. I gotta say, because Rightfully Fresh, quite legitimate on that Fanny character.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, anything you can do, we can do better, apparently, is what Demon's Raw is saying here. Actually, nearly complete mirror, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference, right, is probably what Merchant playing the Luna goalie here instead of Luna going midfield and then another goalie pick, and it's the Estelle, most likely, setting the stage here. But I don't know. I mean, I suppose that we could see Estelle goalie and have almost the same 6 strikers, just swapped sides. So I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. I do like this draft a lot more than the previous game's draft for the Bozo Bunch, especially because they got the Luna. They got the Merchant pick that has more agency for the goalie that thrives on agency. But on the other end, Rightfully Fresh on this Fanny in NASL this season has looked incredibly, incredibly good.
Yeah. So we'll see where this goes. Unfortunately, no chance of seeing whether or not this is a Siphoning Luna, because it is the Luna going to Merchant. Indeed. Prize fighter, everybody, except Fresh, picking the Casta last, maintaining that debuff on the players of the Bozo Bunch. So we'll see where this one goes, but on a prize fighter start, of course, the first couple of KOs are going to be the most critical to set the pace for the rest of the set, especially here in set 1, and Dropletto already taken to very low stagger.
Yeah, it is looking quite good, because this comp, Bite Breakers, built on damage, last game didn't really show up. This game, the Dropletto is on death's door with no evades.
Fan brace difference, I guess, maybe.
I think it's just
kind of.
It might just be a team diff on this one. I think the Demon's Raw are way more suited to running this comp.
There he goes. Finally KO'd. About 48 seconds into the game. Misdirection comes out here. Not able to find the same level of quick coordination here, but even still, Snake finds yet another KO, and so that is Dropletto and Streak down to no starting awakening, and Snake will find an easy clear for the goal.
Yep, it is looking quite good, I think, for Demons RAHH. They got a lot of meter, and on the other end, the forwards of the Bozo Bunch, not quite the same, not very, very close, but there's a crater. There's the damage potential, and if Merchant could be the one building up these prize fighter stacks, that is huge as well.
If that can happen, all the better, but this time it is actually the KO against Snake, resetting the prize fighter stacks, and we are almost back to neutral. All but Fudgy Waffles has a second prize fighter stack. Everyone else just on one. And seeing where else this one can go. Of course, Energy Burst starting to come online here. Merchant does have one on the defensive side. Fudgy will use his. Now exchanged with Merchants, and Streak and Snake both very low. Not able to find much of anything just yet. Trying to get the heal with the orb, but Snake going to be taken down really low again. Still able to get the gold barrier, though. Not taken off the pitch just yet. Crystallized Thorns are out. Whammy goes slightly wide of the Zentaro. Dropletto keeps the core away from the goal box. Big finish. Sends the core flying actually back towards Fresh. Finds the goal barrier there. And open goal gates on both sides. Maybe an opportunity. Merchant flying in and will be able to get the job done on the boost.
That is really, really good from Merchant. The mind game, not hitting the core with the boost, making it so that rightfully Fresh has to be the one scared, has to be the one taking action against the core, and winning the interaction in the end. The Luna has so much agency in those situations if you still have Strike after the boost.
And so, looking for the mind game here. There. Able to find it again. Keep the core forward. And it's an open goal gate. Excuse me. Wow. Sneeze came on at the wrong time. On the caster desk. KO comes through at the right time here for Demons RAHH to alleviate some of the pressure. Merchant trying to fly onto the boost, and feels like Saya Merchant slowly warming up to going for the more offensive boost plays. The whole team gets involved on the goal. Dropletto will put it away.
Yeah, it is another good point from the Bozo Bunch, and again, like, I'm really liking that they just locked in an eject goalie for Merchant, right? Whether it's the Vice or the Luna. The fact that Merchant can be that addition to the offense is so valuable for this team. The aspect in which they struggle is confirming things, confirming goals, confirming KOs. In the midfield, in the mid game, they're solid if they're not dying. When it comes to just getting the confirms fully, it's so important that there's Merchant there. What a brilliant save from Merchant, but Snake is there for the follow-up.
Quick reaction times all around there with the edge of the energy burst able to get sent up. Then Merchant able to find the save on the boost. But alas, the goal goes in, and we're all tied up here in set one. Again, prize fighter start, meaning that a reset on the sets could start swinging this around. Fudgy Waffles, 4 prize fighter stacks at the moment on this IME. And Merchant actually highest in XP. So if Bozo Bunch able to come away with this, Merchant gets to pick the litter here. Extra damage potentially for this Luna right on the eject button. Could potentially be huge, but honestly, already has most of what he needs in order to get the job done. Dropletto trying to buy himself some space here at center field. Can't do a lot at the moment. Continues to just get knocked around. Picks up a healing orb. And now gets popped off the map by Fudgy. Huge KO. with those extra prize fighter stacks. Triple take will prevent the core from being cleared completely. And now Snake in position here for Demon's Raw. Streak been bullied away. Merchant went flying. And now maybe Snake with an opportunity on a play. Fudgy down to the bottom side. Loses control of the core. This time, drop Leto. Back on over to Fudgy. And Snake just patiently waiting for the core to come to him. But even still, it's 2 barriers. Doesn't matter. Comes out of the portal. Almost able to come away with it. Not quite just yet. And now, oh my goodness, continues to fly through the portals. And it is the Bozo Bunch picking up first here. Merchant already on level 6. Takes first pick in the draft.
And that was such an important point to win as well. Drop Little with the perfect core speed through the portal to the bottom side of the net. Frightfully Fresh almost was there in time, but not quite. And that's going to be Twin Drive. That's going to be even more plays from Merchant. Oh. And if Merchant can create plays, I think the Bozo Bunch have a shot at it. But my eyes are also on that Timeless Creator. Luna struggles a lot with getting the core out of the big finish from Bani, and Frightfully Fresh has been very good at proactively stepping up to make sure that big finish is used on offense, and that has been the source of a lot of Bozo Bunch troubles.
A little bit of extra power for Drop Leto here as well. Wonder if that will make a difference. Opting for the Spark, but even still, Merchant gets the job done, finds both barriers. Power play for the 2 forwards. They're able to find the connection, and Streak able to slip it in through the big finish.
And we're already seeing the power of this team. Hopefully we can see a little bit more of it here, but Demon's Raw, of course, they have the damage, and even in that last point in the previous set that the Bozo Bunch won, the damage pressure was immense. Like, Streak was basically dead, and that's going to happen pretty consistently regardless.
Certainly true, and here it is again. Streak almost out of stagger completely. There's the glitch pop to make him staggered. Rose Warp trying to go closer to Fresh, I suppose, make it harder to hit. And now Merchant, never know when the Luna's gonna come flying in. Gets the job done there again. Merchant having a field day on this eject pick.
Yeah, every single point, it feels like Merchant, just a late surger really, when it approaches overtime, gets in there with the boost, puts on the pressure on the Frightfully Fresh, and it is just beautiful to watch. Guys, Bozo, never take him off an eject goalie, please.
Certainly got to be feeling pretty good now for the Bozo Bunch. Merchant, once again, getting at least 1 barrier, while Fresh was KO'd. Drop Leto sent away. Here's Merchant flying in again. There's the Twin Drive, second cast of it, and Streak will be able to pull off the angle here to throw the goal in. 3-0 in set 2 here for the Bozo Bunch. They have found their footing and are continuing to get the job done.
I think like this draft, this is also really good for Bozo. Of course, that stacks on stacks is what I have my eyes on. For Frightfully Fresh, perhaps a lot more agency, but Missile Prob will be denied away, taken by Fresh, taken away from the Luna instead. Stinger, though, and Bulk Up, stagger denied, power gained, damage gained for the Bozo Bunch here. And taking a look at the rest of the draft, there's speed for Demon's Raw, yes, but Bozo, I think, will have a very good time dealing that damage.
I don't think the speed for Demon's Raw is going to be enough to combat the Luna flying in on the rocket. Going to be difficult, certainly, but maybe we'll have some slight bit more agency. Drop Leto, though, even still bullied away and now KO'd. Merchant doesn't care. Streak will Rose Warp to save the goal barrier here. It's not enough on the power play. It will still fall. Snake and Fudgy team up for the goal. And high risk, high reward play from Merchant there, sticking around after the eject button option went away. Wasn't able to quite be successful there, but even still, looking for a bit more here are the Demons, and knowing at this point that if they can find those KOs, they certainly will be able to get the ball rolling here, and indeed, they've already found yet another. Streak goes down. Fudgy in position here to team up with Snake. And it's looking like the Demons might have found just what the doctor ordered in a couple more of these KOs. Snake doesn't quite have the same level of presence, but now there's the Oni's Blade. Power play extends, and that is now 3 prizefighter stacks for both forwards on Demons RAHH, 0 for both Streak and Dropletto, and the set is snowballing out of control.
Yeah, I think Demons RAHH have really ramped up here, and this is a do-or-die set for them, right? They would like to keep themselves in this game, and they're getting it done. It feels like damage focus, but most importantly, like I mentioned in the draft where time was picked by Fresh, that big finish is proving to just be such an obstacle for Bozo Bunch. Merchant on the Luna, no good tools to deal with that very easily.
Now, once again, teaming up for the damage. Dropletto taken down very low. Not going to be able to get the job done in the red gold box. Knocked away again, and there's the KO that has come through. Fudgy Waffles with an energy burst. Merchant with his own to get it out of there, and will use the boost to find 1 gold barrier. But again, still cannot stay alive for the moment. Dropletto take it off the pitch. Streak with the energy burst. Not able to find much of anything. Here's the big finish from Fresh. Moved up very far forward, and even still just lets it stick around for a while. Here's Snake still in position, but they can't find the goal barrier. Finally, it will fall. Oh, flying in on the boost is Merchant again, but it doesn't matter. Snake with a beautiful punish as Merchant blinks back to the eject button, and Demons RAHH found their first set in the game.
Yeah, I think they really just were shifting gears to just pressure Merchant a lot more this set, and that's huge. That gets them the draft win, and there are so many scary awakenings on the board. The Adrenaline Rush in particular, right? If they could find 1 KO, they could stack up those prize fighters. They could be dominant here, and they're really just closing the gap. It feels like, even with the extra special on Merchant, the Bozo Bunch are going to have to be a lot more careful, help out Merchant a lot more on defense, and that's going to mean that their offense is that much weaker.
Well, I think their offense is going to be that much weaker when Dropletto still can't find a recovery awakening, right? It's Spark of Leadership picked up for him, right? I don't know how much that's really going to help. Shares the extra power, I suppose, with the rest of the team, and maybe it's enough to find a KO or 2 as it's Snake taken off up first. But even still, it feels like it might be an upward battle. Comes down to maybe these first couple KOs of the set, right? First one found, of course, by the Bozo Bunch. Can be huge at maintaining the pace of what is to come. Streak taken down very low. There's a triple take. Now Streak got to be careful not to get bullied away. Will survive the Oni's Blade. Everything else thrown out. Won't be taken off the pitch just yet. Firewall Sentry is out, sets up Snake for a goal barrier take. Here comes Merchant flying in, does have the energy burst, doesn't elect to use it. Crater comes up just a little bit too late. Big finish, goes through the portal. We're in overtime now. 2 energy bursts online. Dropletto burns his, can't find the core. Rose War forward from Streak. Still trying to do everything in his power, getting this core up to Dropletto, but now KO'd in the process. Dropletto finds his own KO. Merchant flying in, the core goes slightly wide. Pass forward, Snake covers in the Oni's Blade. And the core still back and forth over the pitch. Too fast for the big finish. Merchant's back in time with the eject button. Dropletto almost to himself through the portal. Streak is there, trying to help out. Merchant forced to use the energy burst defensively here in the open net. Oh. But a glitch pop from Fudgy Waffles intercepts the pass to Streak as he was looking and set up to get the core up to Dropletto. Doesn't matter. Beautiful awareness from Fudgy, and no one reacts in time.
Yeah, that was a brilliant shot there from Fudgy. And it felt like Bozo Bunch should have had more control in those open net situations in overtime, right? Even though the team player is on Rightfully Fresh, they have the eject button goalie, but they just couldn't find a good passing play forward. And that point might come to haunt them because this point's looking a lot less favorable.
A little less favorable now as Dropletto gets taken off of the pitch. Streak down to 0 prize fighter stacks. Snake also at 0, so it's Merchant with 2, Dropletto with 1, and Fudgy with 2 as well. Have to be watching that very closely here, as we're still in the first couple of points where KOs have not quite happened, but there's yet another. It's Fudgy now up to 3 this set, and will be able to secure the goal, looking to send Demons Raw to a set 5.
Demons Raw, they had a bit of a late start this game, but they focused, they concentrated, they didn't get rushed, and now they're in full control of the game. The damage onto Dropletto instantly killed. Okay, well, that was a crazy corner bounce, but Snake confirms it anyway.
Energy Burst takes him off. Snake trying to buy those prize fighter stacks back, and Demons Raw might be trying to send us to this 5th set. Want to end the series in 2 games. We'll see if they're able to do just that. Snake now looking for the triple play against himself. Not able to do that yet. Core goes slightly wide in front of him. Oni's Blade now, maybe another opportunity. Uses the passive of the strike, but Merchant has the energy burst to keep it away. Here's the boost from Merchant, turning around on the offensive. Streak's got the Crystal Thorns. The Crater comes out, and the goal barrier is down through the portal. Streak, Dropletto, slight miscommunication. It goes over to Snake, who has maybe a play. Merchant able to find the save of the boost. Keeps the core out for now. Lets it hit the Firewall Sentry before hitting it out, giving his forwards time to reposition. And Streak trying to fight through this corner. Big finishes out, turns it right around. It's back over to Snake. Merchant guesses wrong, and we're on to a set 5.
Merchant can't do it all. He tried so hard. He did so much, but in the end, like, there's so much that this Luna has to do. The playmaking just isn't there from the Bozo Bunch. And heading onto this draft as well, things are not up. The Deadeye denied, and the draft after the Deadeye's gone is not nearly as good for the Luna, right? We'll pick up the Orb Replicator for some energy for the team, and 1-2 punch as well, but it is just a terrifying, monumentalist, timeless spinny goalie that Frightfully Fresh has. I think this is the home stretch.
It's the home stretch, but there wasn't a lot of extra damage picked up from Demons Raw. Meanwhile, Dropletto picks up 1-2 punch. Streak picks up heavy impact here as well. So maybe there's a world where they can start finding some of these KOs up early, get those prize fighter stacks online, and snowball the game. It comes down maybe to this first goal and who can find the KOs up on our prize fighter starting Awakening. Now through the portal, up to the top corner. Snake looking very low. Dropletto trying to get in position here, but the Fiery Flurry doesn't quite connect. Finds the escape through the portal. And will get away from Dropletto, who now has an energy burst. But even still, Snake is very low, dodging and weaving through all of the primaries possible. And still able to live, at least for now. There's that big finish. It's out beyond the range of, or the radius of, an energy burst. Merchant, now, here's an opportunity. Both energy bursts committed, and it's the Bozo Bunch getting the first goal in set 5.
That's big. Getting the KO as well is huge, right? For that prize fighter stacked up on multiple members. This could be the snowball. But the one weakness of the Bozo Bunch, it doesn't feel like they're prepared to pass in a lot of these situations. And they're depending a lot on Merchant. If Merchant gets shut down by the big finish, by the pressure, it's going to be dangerous. But I think the prize fighters are enough.
It seems to be the case for now as Dropletto takes Snake off the pitch. 0 prize fighter stacks for both members of Demons Raw, picking up that Awakening. And now it's all Bozo Bunch here. The energy burst is used. It goes around the big finish to the goal. Game point for the Bozo Bunch.
Merchant's doing it again. The prize fighter is activated for the Bozo Bunch. The snowball's here. But it all depends on whether they can close it out. But, okay, I think they close it out.
They're closing it out, Saya. Dropletto sends Snake packing once more. Crater comes up just short. Even still, great position in the corner to be in, especially with Fudgy very low. Merchant flying in again, but still not able to find a play towards the goal. Okay, Demons Raw able to find both goal barriers, but even still, they have no stagger to their name. Taken off the pitch, it's a double KO. Dropletto looking for Fudgy here as well, and maybe they're trying to stall out to see if they can get that last one. Comes back to bite them for a moment. Merchant guesses the clear angle from Fresh, wrong. Energy Burst, pass, Dropletto just shy. There's another KO as Streak sends Fudgy off of the pitch finally. There's the goal, and there's the game. We're heading to a third on Taiko Temple.
That was just so good. So good from the Bozo Bunch in that last set. That's exactly what their comp needed to do. I thought it was doomed when Frightfully Fresh got the Monumentalist with the Timeless on the Fini. I thought the defense would be too difficult, but you know, sometimes you don't need to play defense if you're permanently on the offense. They got the KOs early on. They got those prize fighter stacks, and they won the game through that. And I really just like how productive their plan was in this game. Just lock in the eject button goalie for Merchant. If they don't, next game, I'm leaving. I'm gone. Like, it's over.
There's more than one eject button goalie, so it cannot possibly be all banned away in this third game. KO numbers for both teams looking relatively healthy.
Look at save numbers.
Save numbers going crazy right now. Merchant at 106, 2 goals, 3 assists. Was everywhere on the map, all at once. 214 redirects most of the game, and certainly showed it there. But I think, again, right, it's all about that prize fighter snowball. When that awakening has its first start, we saw the teams able to capitalize off of some early KOs and really take it to the bank.
Yeah, and I know who I'm remembering on my ballots for All Pro. This Merchant guy, this Merchant guy is definitely going to be there, no matter what. Because when he gets his pick, magic happens. Every single time, without fail.
Yeah. Definitely able to put in a very large amount of impact on that last game. We will see how this one continues to develop as we head into game 3. It is on Taiko Temple. Don't know what that means. Who's excited? Is there anyone that's particularly excited? I mean, obviously, right, it was the last neutral map, so theoretically both teams are pretty okay with it. But it doesn't feel like it's a KO-heavy map either.
Yeah, I just need the Bozo Bunch to not let Merchant down. Sometimes the scoreline's like, Merchant got 106 saves, scored 7 goals, got 27 KOs,
and they lost
perfectly 10 times as the Bozo Bunch fell to soon-to-be Strikers 3-1.
Well,
oh
surely
my
not
God.
this time.
What is this draft? Oh no! Oh.
Demons were listening to you, Saya. They said, wait, we can ban eject button goalies. I mean, in fairness, Luna would have been picked away from Fudgy. Oh, Saya's gone. All right, well. Guess I'm solo casting this one, folks. Saya has given up.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Wait, hang on. He could lock Kai or something. We have options here, Saya.
Yeah, I'm watching this with deep breaths, with an watchful eye. We have to wait and see right now. I have the Uma Musume skill list pulled up right now, and I'm integrating as many as I can because that's the only way I can cope. What else is there? Everyone should probably hydrate, take a small breather, keep themselves level-headed, because I'm not. It's not looking good. But that's a Drakkar goalie for Merchant.
Drakkar goalie for Merchant?
He's looked solid on in the past, but the issue is it's not a playmaker.
Watch me play eject button Drakkar. We'll see how that one goes, I suppose. Very traditional comp out of Demons. And, oh, there's the Kai.
That's
You sure that it's going to go goalie?
That's definitely Drakkar goalie, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. I'm just not confident. I think Demons RAHH have a far superior composition here. I think they're gonna get it done. Frightfully Fresh always looks good on that Fini, and they don't have that Merchant X Factor, so I'm scared.
Well, he didn't look as good in game 2, given by the fact that they lost. I mean, Fresh looked fine.
Yeah, Fresh looked fine.
But just the team overall was...
Fresh looked fine. It was just that Merchant looked better,
done.
you know? It's that kind of thing.
That's true. Yeah. Not to mention the prize fighter snowballs and all of that. But surely we will have a good, honest game of Omega Strikers coming up next. Seeing where this one ends up going. Remember, folks, it is the Drakkar goalie. Strike shot is the pickup there. Don't have the eject button for Merchant. Recall, folks, that even if, or no matter who wins this, they do not lock playoffs, and no matter who loses this, they are not out of the playoffs race. There is still a lot more Omega Strikers to be played, but our multiverse is collapsing. 512 scenarios remain after this. What, it's 256, right?
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure that something like that. So plenty of Omega Strikers left to be played as these teams try to vie for the best odds of making playoffs.
Every time a game is played, I believe the scenarios get cut in half. And right now, it's looking like the Bozo Bunch's chances are a little bit suspect, but Droplet is getting it done. Streak is getting the passes, and I think a lot of this is that Streak, I think, has usually been comfortable on this Kai. And although the Kai doesn't seem like very good in this comp overall, I think that comfort's super important, especially when you need those clutch plays, when you need to just be comfortable in the moment.
At the end of the day, the pressure is on, right? Both these teams, 3 and 4, likely winning both of their matches would lock themselves for playoffs. And so every point, every set, every game matters. And the extra comfort knowing a striker that you don't have to think about how to play can make the difference. Giga Blast, another one, comes out of Streak, finds a goal barrier. Here's the big finish from Fresh. Doesn't quite get a lot of work done. Now Dropletto sent around, knocked off the quarter bass drum and sent back to his own side of the pitch. Snake attempting to volley Streak, but energy economy to the Bozo Bunch here. We're close to getting KO'd there. Still maintains his energy burst here. Likely has to use it in a moment and now gets sent away by the piercing shot of Fudgy. Will walk out of the big finish. And Merchant sticks around in the Xenocloak. Blazing pace now from Streak. There's enough in position to find the goal barrier. And now all that's left is a passing play to get it up to Dropletto. Playing the X. The X Maximus comes out, but it's not enough to send the core through just yet. Maybe an opportunity here, and we'll find it with the Bull Rush.
Well, that's the Dropletto special. He's known for the X. He was known for the X in particular. Pretty much solely the X in the past, and still on point with those plays, even though he locks it in a lot less nowadays. A lot of meter on both teams here, and these flips are going to determine quite a bit, but the first one deflected without any meter used from the Bozo Bunch, and I feel like they have a big capability to play make here if Dropletto can stay alive, if Streak can avoid taking too much damage, but that's a lot of damage on Streak, but there's the Giga Blast flip, there's the combo with the Spec Training, and that's the X Factor that they need.
Oh, I thought it would have been the X Striker, would have been the X Factor, but what do I know? Also worth noting, by the way, haven't got the chance to talk about this yet. Both brawlers picking up the Vambrace here. Dropletto, of course, it probably expected on the X, but Snake sticking with it for this game as well on the Juliet. Does have that. And as the goal barriers open up, Imagine might see a few less KOs here, especially early in this game. It's overtime now. Dropletto looks to get in position here. Has to get far enough forward to send it around. This Finny. Able to find a KO. There is Snake with the energy burst here. Maybe an opportunity on the dribble play, but a great strike shot from Merchant. Sends it away. Now, oh my goodness. That core just bounced all over the place. Finds Snake and finds the goal. It's Demons Raw on the board.
Yeah, those kinds of plays are difficult because this Ricard doesn't have enough range to cover the full goal in a lot of these situations. And the core speed accelerates so fast on Tycho in overtime. And rightfully Fresh and Snake are very, very aware of how to abuse that. It is looking so precise. And the Bozo Bunch also, the other main concern is that they are not taking that much damage right now, but that's more on Demons Raw, not super focusing on damage. They're almost dying too without Demons Raw focusing on the KOs as hard. And if they focus a little bit, that's exactly what happens.
It felt like, too, that's what happened in Game 2, was it? When Demons Raw were starting to turn this one back around, clawing back towards that set 5. Didn't feel like they got a lot of extra damage. Just felt like they were able to coordinate their damage a little bit better, right? Picking out a specific target, finding that KO, able to convert, and then that snowballed as the game went on, thanks to prize fighter. So there's certainly an avenue where having that reset coming after an Awakenings draft allows the team to think a little bit more hand in hand and able to find a little more coordinated play. Streak takedown very low, as is Merchant. Now looking again for something here. Piercing shot from Fudgy will actually find the goal barrier. And the core to the waiting hands of Dropletto, almost. Snake picked it up for a moment. There's the big finish. Streak trying to keep this one away. Hits the corner and an awkward bounce up to Dropletto. Fudgy maybe trying to maintain possession here. Snake putting in the damage onto Dropletto. Here's the energy burst. It goes right over to Fudgy. Can't find the goal barrier. Streak has his own energy burst for the moment, and now will find the goal barrier without it. Will he use it for the offensive play? Fudgy will beat him to it. Now Streak actually uses it on the defensive. Burns the meter. Doesn't have that at the moment, and Dropletto going to get sent off of the pitch. Power play opportunity now for Demons Raw. Fudgy looking for Snake off the center base drub, maybe for a weird angle play. Streak trying to keep this one in the corner away from Snake as much as possible. And the penalty has been killed. Dropletto now is there, just slightly wide of actually connecting with Fresh. The power play continues. It's now Streak taken off the pitch. Misdirection, out. There was an opportunity there, but it didn't quite get over to Snake. Couldn't read the bounce off the corner, and now almost an opportunity. Streak able to collect on the goal line. Keep this one away. Merchant as well. Core speed continuing to skyrocket. There's the crystallized thorns, and the lock and load comes up just late. We're on goal 5 in set 1.
That is so tough. It was a great defense by the Bozo Bunch, but they couldn't keep it in control at the very end. And it's natural to get impatient in those situations, right? Like, you need to try and make a play of your own, not just defend, but Fudgy Waffle is just fed on that impatience perfectly with those Crystal Thorns, and now the Bozo Bunch are in a lot of trouble as the damage is stacking up.
Starting to stack up. It feels like the Bozo Bunch haven't gotten a KO of their own in quite some time. Meanwhile, Demons Raw finding consistency in that. Dropletto able to find the energy burst defensively to keep the core away, but now a KO as a Giga Blast connects with Fresh. Great power play opportunity here for the Bozo Bunch, but they can't quite keep possession of the core. Dropletto in position, will be able to find the goal barrier. Strike shot up the Streak, over to Dropletto, gets sent away. And Fresh patiently waiting. Able to strike the core away the second he comes back on. Fudgy, Rose warping forward. Looking potentially for a pass and play here. Snake does have an energy burst. It is 0.5, so he's incentivized to use it. Merchant finds the lock and load here. So that offensive resource is denied. Fudgy uses the energy burst to find a KO, but another power play opportunity. Looking for the pass forward, but Streak doing a great job of covering Snake with a little bit of extra speed that he gets on the blazing pace. Sent out a big finish. Giga Blast is up. Drop Leto, now back online. But Snake finds a KO. Huge one versus Merchant. Streak has to drop back. Maybe an opportunity here. Streak almost gets KO'd to the piercing shot of Fudgy Waffles. Merchant is back up. Penalty successfully killed, and there's the strike shot to get this one out of the waiting arms of Snake, but it doesn't matter. It goes right back over to him, and it's just a simple strike to the goal to put Demons RAHH ahead.
That was a really, really tough bounce, too. It was so ambiguous. It really could have gone directly to Merchant or back to Snake, and it went right back, and the early strike is just so punishing now. On the bright side for the Bozo Bunch, though, they do get the missile propulsion pretty much guaranteed, but on the not-so-bright side, there are so many good awakenings for Demons RAHH. There's the extra special. The big finish has been such an obstacle for them, and this X is going to be left with, oh wait, still Might of the Colossus up, so not the worst, but this core speed is just going to work around the Bozo Bunch. They just haven't had the core under their control. In the last point, they just couldn't find a passing play forward. Fresh had such easy defense in the last point.
One thing, though, is having the influence on the core is going to be very helpful. You know, we talk about Merchant having the eject button option, and while he doesn't in this game, the extra projectile range can help him get involved on the offensive side in the same way. Keep up the pressure for the Bozo Bunch and let Tropletto do the work as the X continues to scale up, especially with something like Might of the Colossus here up first. And it's an early goal in set 2 for the Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, drop seeming particularly calm and collected at the moment here. And that's very important, right? Even if you're down, if you're an X, you picked up your Might of the Colossus, your teammate picked up Missile Prop Drakkar, and Streak, of course, getting that dash range as well, right? All very, very important picks here, and they have the scaling that they need to start winning, perhaps, with another barrier take.
Now, Streak kind of getting a little too fancy with it, almost. Goal barriers fall. Snake able to do work on the other side of the pitch as well. Here's Fudgy. Trying to make a play towards Snake. Can't quite do that yet. Molten Bolt is out here. Dropletto maybe with an opportunity, but the core goes slightly past him. 2 energy bursts online here for Fudgy and Snake. Merchant realizes it and gets that core out of there with his own. But even still, they're coming towards the goal. Here's Fudgy, able to keep it out. Our Snake and Merchant. Or Streak and Merchant, excuse me, but it doesn't matter. Snake has still got his own and sends it to the top corner.
Yeah, that was rough. Drop was trying to get the flick with the bull rush into strike and then flip it, but unfortunately it didn't end up working out, and that meant Demons RAHH had to push towards the offense. They're low on meter though, so the Bozo Bunch have a chance to burst down Snake, but I don't think they can fully get the KO here.
It's going to be difficult to find that, especially with Snake's Vambrace pick. Healed right on back up to full with popping his ultimate. Dropletto in the X Maximus, dealing a little bit of damage. Fresh taken down pretty low. Doesn't have the ability to finish him off though. And Fresh especially won't be able to get taken down. Walking up to the midfield line and taking that orb. Barrage is out of Streak, who gets sent away. Doesn't quite have the same level of pressure here, but Merchant actually walking up to the midfield line. Streak now on the blazing pace, and what hit him?
He's got hit. Like
what?
He's got range ability, you know? It was just a snipe. It was just a snipe. All good. It was impressive how Streak was surviving against Snake, and then he ran right into, I believe, the piercing shot from Fudgy and just blew up.
Well, you know, even the best of the game can walk into an ability now and again right on the edge of the map. All good though. Goal barriers taken here early, one on each side of the pitch. Merchant trying to keep the core forward here, and there is Dropletto in the X Maximus finds a KO this time. Power play opportunity. Bull Rush is used. Streak looking to keep this one in the corner. Even still, Fresh able to hold on for a decent while longer. Molten Bolt comes out, limits mobility. Gold barrier is taken in the process. Dropletto forced to retreat. Low on stagger. And now Merchant maybe in pursuit to the goal, but Snake able to KO the goalie on the other side. Here's Streak, low on stagger, finds the barrage to keep the goal barrier alive. Now able to get it around Snake there as well. Fiery Flurry comes out. Snake in complete control here, and the core's gonna find the net.
Oh, and that might have been Merchant, actually, with the shotgun trying to help out. It was a good try from the Bozo Bunch, but Snake just so proactive, right? Even when they were in a slight disadvantage, he found the dash punch KO, he found the power play, he found the pressure with the Flame Flurry, and Snake, of course, a well-deserved MVP here. It is going to be the bulk up, it's going to be that additional power, it's going to be the stagger to stay alive even more reliably. And the Bozo Bunch now, it's looking dangerous for them, as Monumentalist could be going on the Fini here.
There is the Monu for the Fini. Deadeye picked up here. Mostly probably it's a denial from Fudgy. And Streak deciding for the survivability awakening of recovery drone in some form or fashion. But I suppose maybe you're thinking here the extra core speed, extra survivability from Dropletto. This will be a good look in some way. But even still, Streak with not much stagger at all is going to be forced to pop this recovery drone potentially very early. But a KO could change the tide of battle here. Snake taken down early. Streak to the corner, looking for Dropletto here. Still doesn't want to commit the energy burst to find the barrier. Giga Blast up. Looking for the core again. This time it's Snake. Now potentially here looking for Streak, running around to the blazing pace. They going to be patient, Flo, awaiting his food, and will proc the recovery drone in the first goal of the game. Meanwhile, Dropletto finds the goal barriers on the other side of the pitch. Snake looking for the KO. Dropletto stays alive. Goal barrier popped with a big finish. And Snake's got an energy burst here to put the goal away. Uses it here. Merchant steps forward, able to find the save. Tries to clear it with his own goal energy burst. And now pass back and forth, looking for the play. Dropletto takes the shot. And enough chaos was happening there with the core in overtime, but the core finds the net.
Yeah, not enough space for Frightfully Fresh to work the Fini magic in the bottom side of the net. Ball played by the Bozo Bunch, and this time the big finish backfiring a little bit. The Molten Bolt, long range from Merchant, the missile prop boost, helping out in that barrier take on the top side. Now Streak's got to be careful. Debuffed up by the Fini, needs to go, and a perfect Giga Blast after stepping back, making full use of the core flip while retreating. But just like the previous time, makes a great flashy play and then falls to a ranged ability. All good.
Okay, Merchant able to find the hold here. Big finish, though, causing a huge problem right now for the Bozo Bunch. Streak back online here. Will bully it away from Fudgy Waffles. Meanwhile, Snake tries to bully Merchant. Low on stagger. Merchant dangerously close to getting KO'd, and there's the punch to send him packing. Fudgy to the corner. Streak is back in time, looking to make the plays on the defensive line, and will be able to do just that. 2 seconds to Merchant coming back online, and we'll be able to. Always helpful to have a second goalie as your midfielder. Never have to worry about a forward in the net moment. And then the quick transition over to the other side of the pitch and the blazing pace means a quick pass to Dropletto when a goal goes in.
They find their passing play. They find what they need, but the Bozo Bunch still need to secure a set win. It has eluded them so far in this game. It eluded them for a while in the late game of the previous game. But if they can find consistency in just 1 point here, then continue this series, find a way into playoffs perhaps. But Frightfully Fresh, the Professor of Curvature with the big finish. And now another KO, this time onto Streak. It is looking so good for Demon's Raw at this point as Fudgy Waffle sends the flip out. There's a hit stun from Snake. Gets the goal, and Demon's Raw, they can still win it here.
And likely would rather, given by the fact that there's an X and a Kai on the other side of the pitch as their opponents. Oh no, Dropletto instantly sent away with the misdirection and opens up an early power play opportunity. There's a big finish, beautiful position, crystallized thorns, every ability used to perfection here from Demon's Raw to find the goal barriers, but they're not able to put away the core just yet. Streak trying to transition back to the other side of the pitch on the blazing pace. A blazing fast transition, but it won't find both goal barriers. Not as successful as what the Demons were able to do a moment ago. Crystallized Thorns come out now, looking to Snake. Can't quite find it. There's Streak again. Very low on Stagger. Energy Burst comes out. Power play opportunity. Big finish is there. Just got to be a matter of getting this on the right side. But Merchant's got the Energy Burst to scoop it away. There's another opportunity from Snake, but it is sent away. Streak instantly pops the blazing pace, getting back into the play. Dropletto trying to find a way towards this barrier, but there are so many members of Demon's Raw in the way. Here's the Maximus as he tries to bully them away, but even still, the cores back away from him. It's over to the waiting hands of Snake, and here's the Energy Burst. Merchant's got it in the Xeno Cloak. Giga Blast comes out, and there's another perfect position. Dropletto finds the Energy Burst he needs, and it's a set for the Bozo Bunch.
He accelerates forward, he finds the flip, and what an angle before that to get around Frightfully Fresh. Now the Bozo Bunch, I think, have a very real chance, but there are also Scary Awakenings still remaining. That Timeless Creator is going to be so good because it's just going to fall down to the Fini.
Yeah, there's no one else that can really take that Timeless Creator unless we're seeing another Timeless Creator Juliet's, but no, just goes for the heavy impact anyway. It's double Damage Awakenings here early, and then we imagine that Timeless or something of the sort here. No, Siege Machine for the longer range projectile.
Same thing.
Of the misdirection. Still going to be incredibly impactful, but a lot of Damage Awakenings picked up in that last draft, Saya, and so we might see them fly off the pitch even faster.
Yeah, the Bozo Bunch just needs to get something done before they go down. They don't have that sustain to speak of. They don't really have the mobility, at least on Dropletto's end, and same with Merchant, right? They don't really have the ability to get away from the goal box, away from the enemy forward as much. They got to rely on hit stunning them away and maybe, just maybe, surviving a little while longer. But right now, Snake is just getting in there, fearless, and both barriers are already down here.
Both barriers down. Looking potentially dangerous here. Fiery Flurry out of Snake. Looking towards Streak, but he's got the evade. Great job of getting the core out of the corner here, but now Streak tries to make a play happen. The recovery drone will get procced pretty quickly. And here's the second Energy Burst out of Snake. Merchant sends it away. Has the Energy Burst again to combat the big finish. Giga Blast comes out. Fresh uses his own. Streak low on Stagger already. After what looked like almost only one dash punch, Fire Flurry is out again here. Every ability coming for Streak, but he lives for the moment. No real healing to his name at the moment. Just got to wait as long as he can. And now there's the punch to send him packing again. Goal gates opening up here for the Bozo Bunch and an opportunity, but it's going to be difficult in the power play, and Fudgy's got the piercing shot to put it home.
It's just overwhelming pressure from Demon's Raw in the damage department. Even though Bozo Bunch gets something done on the barrier takes, they're still permanently in that power play that's favoring Demon's Raw, and they need to do something to prevent that staggering lead in the KO department.
Well, there's something they can do. Dropletto finds a KO, but even still, Snake finds both goal barriers on the other side. Without the Maximus here, I imagine it's going to be slightly more difficult for Dropletto to score. Does have the Energy Burst, uses it here, finds the goal barrier for it, but can't secure the goal just yet. Now open gates on both sides. Giga Blast comes out. Dropletto does not have the speed at all to get back up there in time. Fiery Flurry out of Snake. Streak staying alive pretty well this time. There's the triple take, used towards the core rather than towards another player. Big finish is out. Takes a shot towards Merchant again. Molten Bolt gets around the Crystallized Thorns. Dropletto maybe with an opportunity. Here's another Maximus from him. Streak is low. Can't get the core up to the X. There it is, though. Finally, the passing play comes through. And the Bozo Bunch have another on the board.
They're getting these points, but it's so shaky, right? Even when they didn't fall into a cave disadvantage, they lost the barriers to solo play from Snake, and Snake in particular is really playing so well this series, as expected, of course, from the Demon's Raw mainstay, but especially so in this series so far. And Streak is being damaged so much as well. They got to be careful, but those Giga Blasts from Streak have been fantastic, but there's a piercing shot to take Dropletto out, and suddenly the Bozo Bunch are in trouble once again.
Big finish used on the gold barrier once again. Merchant's got the energy burst to send it away here, and actually doing a great job of keeping it out for the moment. There's the X Maximus pop. The dash punch comes through for Dropletto. Snake bullies Dropletto away, so he can't be that much more impactful, but the core goes flying towards the barrier, and it's open now for the Bozo Bunch to put their second goal in set 4 up. Crystallized Thorns out of Fudgy, trying to keep the momentum the other direction, but even still, Streak in pursuit and will be able to have the barrage to bring it through.
Yeah, and this corner offense, I mean, the Bozo Bunch definitely corner adepts here, as once again, we see shades of the old Bozo Bunch and how they powered it. But the question is, can they keep up this consistency? Because right now, they're relying a lot on these flashy momentary plays. Right now, though, they maintain possession, but no, it slips away for just a moment. It goes to Dropletto again, and Dropletto with the X Maximus Strike reset. Both barriers down and a flip available.
Has this flip available. If they can find the passing play to make it work, they will. Big finish comes out to just barely deny the energy burst, slipping through. Oh, Streak able to find it, able to get KO'd by Snake, I should say, using the energy burst of his own, and now Goldbeer is taken on the other side in this power play. Snake with an opportunity, trying to walk it in with the fiery flurry. Can't quite do it. This Merchant disappears for the moment. Big finish is out. Dropletto with an opportunity, and it crosses the goal line. It's a decisive set 5 coming next.
It's Dropletto. When you need it most, he levels up. And in this final set, it's Merchant with the first pick, but that's a little unfortunate, right? You don't really want your Drakkar going in first pick in this very critical situation. That prize fighter is also what I have my eyes on as well, along with the fight or flight or rush denied away from the enemy team, and a little bit of flat cooldown. 1 second off of those shotguns is also going to be very good for the defensive uptime. But I'm still a little scared for the Bozo Bunch in this one.
It feels like something they ought to be scared about, right? With Fudgy getting the super surge, extra agency on the map, and potentially Snake here able to have more agency as well with the stacks on stacks as the extra speed. The damage hasn't been the problem for this team. Now they have that extra speed and extra range to be able to get the job done. It's going to be a matter of what Streak can do to combat it with the fight or flight. And he's certainly been liking the extra speed when it gets used, especially on the blazing pace, but will it be enough here? It looks like it could just be, as now is able to get it back up to Dropletto. Trying to keep this one in the corner, but it does get away from them. And now off the bounce, Snake trying to also keep this one in at the red corner at this time. There's Streak once again, very low, only has the survivability of the recovery drone, and that's all. But the gold barrier is lost, and they open up here. Snake with an opportunity, denied by one lock and load shotgun. Fudgy rose warps backwards, able to find the save of that gold barrier while Fresh covers the top side. Dash punch from Snake to get the core away. Here's Streak, maybe looking to walk the core in. No, never mind. And beautiful shot placement from Snake. Hits the post and goes in.
Oh my, Snake, despite it all, and he just finds a calm play, right? No impatience, just sitting there waiting for an opportunity, and that strike for a win was everything. And Snake with another dash punch. It was an early lead for Demon's Raw in this final push for Bozo Bunch. They made it all the way to set 5, but right now it's looking like Demon's Raw can close it out here.
Still the possibility of anything happening, though, and already Dropletto comes back alive, and all 3 members of Demon's Raw focusing him down. Streak's recovery drone going to get popped already in this set. And Dropletto sent packing back to the other side of the pitch. He's low, able to dodge, at least for now, but knocked around even still. And there's the triple take that lands on him. That debuff will be able to pick up the orb. Trying to just stay alive for as long as possible, but it's so difficult with just how mobile the members of Demon's Raw are right now. Look at Fresh moving all the way forward here, even still. Snake gonna find the KO versus Dropletto, and there's the energy burst, but it comes out just late from Merchant. Snake sliding in, can't find the goal just yet. Molten Bolt's out here. There's the energy burst. The KO comes through from the misdirection out of Fresh. Streak is back in the box, though. Dropletto trying to buy some space. Here's the energy burst, patiently waiting, killing a couple of seconds off of the clock, waiting for the goalie to come back on. Streak will be successful in doing so. Throws out the Giga Blast. Can't find the quick transition that has been successful for the Bozo Bunch so far. Still annoying are the members of Demon's Raw at this point. Always somewhere, and Streak gets sent flying again. Power play opportunity. Dropletto in position here, lined up with the piercing shot and the energy burst. And it's match point for Demon's Raw.
It's a match point, and the KOs are really coming into play for Demon's Raw at the moment. They need to find a way, Bozo Bunch need to find a way to keep these barriers up even while they get KO'd, because it's an impossible defense. And once again, the big finish, it is looking so difficult as Snake has flipped.
There's a flip here for Snake, used in evade, or trying to actually find the KO, I think, versus Merchant. Not able to do just that. Dropletto maybe with an opportunity here. Doesn't have the support of the team. Streak doesn't have any stagger to his name. There, uses it for the goal barrier, trying to keep the game alive for the Bozo Bunch right now, but the big finish comes out. Dropletto will be able to strike war it through the crystallized thorns. Doesn't have the speed to keep up, and now the wombo combo. Snake takes them out. Streak maybe looking for a goal here, patiently waiting, and outplays two members of Demon's Raw. Trying to do everything in his power to keep Bozo Bunch in this game.
Back in the day, Streak was a contender for the best player in the game. It's been a while since he's been active, but he's still showing that he's got it. Despite everything, the Bozo Bunch are holding on to this game, and with the barrier take early with damage on Fudgy, maybe they can get it done here.
It feels so hard for them to be able to hold on, with Streak having virtually no survivability after that recovery drone gets procced, and Dropletto being so limited in his mobility. Yet somehow they're able to find openings to make plays happen, and it is a deciding goal here in this match.
Just a little further for the Bozo Bunch to pull off the impossible. They have meter, but you gotta watch out. Snake has been so consistent, and Demon's Raw are not lacking in the energy department either. Doesn't choose to flip there, wouldn't have killed, but there's a barrier take early for Dropletto, and Dropletto is winning every single strike war here, but Frightfully Fresh with the big finish. Snake now the one trying to make a play on the other side. Still a flip available, but still hasn't found a barrier.
Merchant also with flip, as well as Streak. Dropletto's about to have his, and Fudgy just found his as well. Snake burns the flip, as does Fudgy. Not able to find much value there at all in the energy conversion. Meanwhile, Dropletto finds the goal barrier, now looking for more. Streak down to the bottom corner, and it's the Bozo Bunch knocking Demon's Raw down even further on the standings. They'll be able to hold on to their hopes of making playoffs just more.
How'd they do it? How'd they do it?
I don't know.
They were looking out in that last set. It was looking over. And then somehow Streak realized that he used to be one of the GOATs.
That game felt impossible to play, and yet Dropletto finds a way. 8 goals, 2 assists, 69,000 damage. Merchant, 355 redirects. It felt so hard for them to find ways to be successful, and yet they're able to, Saya. Just goes to show how close the league is this year. Anything can happen on any point.
It's another Merchant Masterclass as well. The most saves, a ton of redirects, and of course Dropletto, right? Kickstarted that final push for the Bozo Bunch. They're so inconsistent, man.
Well, we'll see whether or not the inconsistent team has what it takes to get it done. Bozo Bunch, of course, going up against Showtime in Week 9 in Demon's Raw, playing against Bun Bun Bonanza. Now, recall what I said at the beginning of this game was that neither team is eliminated from playoffs with wins or losses here. Even still, the chances for the Bozo Bunch look much better given their win in that game. And Demon's Raw going to be that much more difficult in order to squeak in. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep. Not impossible for any of these teams to make playoffs, but the Bozo Bunch just a little bit easier of a road there with that win. Oh, wait. In Week 9, they face Showtime. Well, we'll see if the magic continues. But for now, we're going to go to a quick break before we come back for a very, very important matchup. It's Showtime versus Hungry Like Nephew right after this break.